and every time the focus time hits the activity, it then has a user profile called install or remove, right, or maintain, and this then flies up. Okay, it appears on the screen in line with the Gantt chart. Now, the thing about what we can do here at 5D, right, very easily, into planning and scheduling, right, because you can put your tasks into your activities. That's 5D. All right. What we do then, once we've done all that, we do a thing called baseline. Anybody tell me what a baseline is? Baseline? Okay. Baseline is your planned activities, right? Okay. We plan to build these columns on the 1st of the 17th of March, yeah? We couldn't because of panic, so no. But basically, we plan to build them then, right? Now, there was a delay in the program further up at the design stage because the architect never handed over to the engineer, so the procurement of that procurement of rebar was late. It then pushed that program out, right? The cash flow was pushed out, right? 5D, your plan 5D was pushed out, okay? So that forensic delay analysis in planning and scheduling terms, right? So, back to the 4D thing again, all it is columns into your Gantt chart, right? Does everybody understand that?
Is that using payment as well, is it?
Yeah, you can do that, yeah. Yeah, you can use basically your payments, you can put a milestone in there. We call it sectional completion milestones. So for example, the NEC3 formal contract in the GCC, you put off having sectional completion milestones. Okay, so when you do a program, you say for example, level 1, columns, you have a little milestone in there, and you baseline that milestone. Okay, so if it moves out from the delay because of the architect didn't get over his arse anymore and actually talk to the structural engineer, right? Okay, so that's your payment milestone. His payment milestone's there, and you can see that in the graph. Okay, that's your cash flow, right? And the cash flow is derived from what we call earned value analysis. Okay, we earn the value on site. So when we actually start building this stuff here, we want to then go for payments. We do that by sectional milestone dates. Okay, and we have a little graph up here as well showing our planned costs and the actual cost, depending on our performance on site. Okay.
In the baseline program when you got out there, sorry not to.
Yeah, go on.
If you've got a delay, as you said, that the rebar schedule wasn't given in time for the next operation to start, does the 5D program, the costing program, basically only identify and include the time-related costs of that activity, rather than, let's say, a non-existent extension to the actual concrete and the formwork and the reinforcement, because it's the same concrete, same formwork reinforcement,
Yeah.
but it's only the time-related costs that actually truly get extended as a result of the delay in giving up. Does that do that? Or
That does that as well. Yeah. I mean, basically, whatever you planned in your tender, right? Whatever you tendered for, yeah. Because obviously, when you do estimating, right? Traditionally, an estimator sat in his own office. It's not back to silos again, right? He sat in his own office, and a planner sat in another office, and they both got different production rates. Right? Now, Costos does get over that.
Yes.
And you can squeeze it up as well. Okay. But when it goes to site, normally what happens as well, right? When it comes out of the estimating office, it goes to Mr. the project manager, and he goes, "Oh, thanks very much. Right, so I've got a program now, and reduce that, and change that, and do this and do that." Right? So that's what usually happens as well, you know. And that gets me that was, but that's the silo thing again. Even in companies, you get silos. Estimating department back to the guys on site. You know, seen over and over time. But the thing is, though, with BIM, hopefully I'll get rid of that, because you have to get the contractor involved, the estimator be in the room, the project manager, the bloke who's going to build it, deliver it, also the bloke who's going to design it as well. Okay, and also, so I should say, let's say, ladies and gentlemen who will design that. Okay, so anyway, constructability, yeah, very important in building information modelling. All right.
So when you have
Yeah.
when you've got that time aspect, when you've got that 5D,
Yeah.
and if you've got a delay on that, you've obviously got a final completion date on your on your time aspect of it.
Yeah.
Now, if you were overrunning by, if you've got a delay clause, and that you've got a payment per day for obviously a delay, will that kick in then into your cash flow? Will that
I will, yeah.
It'll deduct one from the other, like so.
Yeah.
If you're over by a couple of days.
Tell you what, can I use this?
Yep.
Just for.
Yep.
Can I use this as well?
Just get a dust as well.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, it's very easy, like, you know. Forensic analysis is not hard at all. Alright, it's very easy. I'll tell you how you do it, right? How you do it, okay? This is a Gantt chart, right? Microsoft project. There's always a thing called a longer series of activities, right? It's called a critical path, right? Now, the critical path always moves and changes depending on how many activities you've got in the program, right? All you have to do, okay, is go into Microsoft Project, right? You go Tools Tracking, Microsoft Project, and you actually put in there create baseline, yeah? And what it does automatically, it puts a baseline and plan dates. Let's put a marker underneath these here, okay? What happens then is that your cash flow is baseline as well, right? So you put your costs in there as well, okay? So what we have then, right? I'm glad we're talking about this as well.
Oh God.
Is that permanent? Is it?
I hope not.
That's right. Just need an old proof.
The spittle removal.
A bit of voice bit. That's what good. So we have them, right? Like, you know, we have our activities, okay? These are logic links. That's called a finish or start logic link. And then we have, this is a 4D model, right? So at the bottom here, and I'll show you the screen later, you actually have the building. I'll just do a cube, just to show the building. Right? And what we do is that this activity name, that's called a formwork. Then we have rebar down here. Then we have a core, yeah, just for simplicity. Okay, that's so I'm not much of an artist, that's. Right, and what we have a start date, finish date, alright, and down here. What most contractors do is they'll put down a jagged line, like this, and go, well, that's 70% complete, that's 80% complete. That's what most contractors do. It's incorrect though, because you're not actually comparing against anything. And what you should compare against is your contractual terms and obligations under the contract, right, which is your contract program. So what you do as a contractor, you put in there like, I don't know, £5,000 in there, alright, for a formwork. You then look at rebar. They say, okay, we'll look at, say, £2,000 in there. And this is purely materials, machinery, and stuff like, you know, what it takes to build it, like, you know. Right? Pour concrete, I don't know, £500 or whatever. All right, so that's that. Okay. In Microsoft Project, any type of a scheduling system, what you do is that you baseline it. All right, and this is represented in the model as well in BIM. Okay, so this is our 4D model. Sorry, 5D. Beg your pardon? 5D. Okay. And what happens is then we have a cash flow like this, like that. All right, and we have week numbers down here like this. Okay, so like week 1, week 2, week 3. Right? You can always take a Gantt chart, remember, yeah, on a piece of paper, and you can go to look at the bottom of it, and you can count the activity weeks, and you can then plot a graph of that as well. You don't have to use a computer. Right? So that's called our cash. That's our baseline, right? So we have a baseline. Now we then have the architect, and he's gone and said, right, we have I've late issue of a so I won't put it down actually. Put it here. We then have our rebar, yeah? Rebar's here now. That's what you need to put on our program. It's called a milestone. Alright, you constrain it. Okay? What happens then, you link that milestone then back over to here, to this activity. Very easy on Microsoft Project, very easy to do. We'll finish the start link. Alright? And what Microsoft Project will do, this will jump out by 1 week. Alright? And it's called a finished variance. We'll call it extension of time. Alright? It'll push it out to 1 week. What happens there, your cash flow, which is planted that way, is now doing that. Alright? Does
that cash flow line come up on your Gantt chart, does it?
It does, yeah.
Like on the MS Project Gantt chart?
On MS Project, you have to do a report. Yeah, report is your value analysis report.
Yeah.
It's on 2007, 2003, it's on there in 2010 as well. What it will say though is that convert that over to Excel, but for starters you should put that in there anyway. Okay, under the actual planned costs, it's a baseline cost. Put in your actual costs in there and your percent complete. Now that's nothing, but anyway, I'll carry on, yeah? So whenever you do forensic analysis, lads, use milestones. and call it a relevant event number such and such 1. Bang, there you go. That's called time impact analysis, right? And that's the basics of a forensic analysis. There's about 3 or 4 different methods. What happens though, right, down here in BIM, because we're in the world of BIM down here in 5D, right, we have 2 screens, right? We have this screen here, and now we have this screen at the bottom, and we have that, similar to that one, huh? Because we haven't got rebar in there. All right, we have that. So I'll show you a bit of that bit later as well. Yeah, we do it for time anyway. I'm back down a bit here. Okay, so constructability. Why is it so important in BIM? It's because of the, it's not constructability what Wikipedia says. Constructability or buildability. Actually, in fact, those are 2 separate things. Can anybody tell me why those 2 are separate? Buildability and constructability. Constructability and buildability. What I was taught was that buildability is how materials go together. I'm trying to remember this. I know there is a difference anyway, okay, between materials go together and constructability. All right, constructability is basically taking a concrete slab and then splitting it up, whereby materials you can have different materials interacting with other materials. Okay, it's called problems like vapor problems, condensation, that sort of thing. That's buildability, right? That's wrong. Wikipedia. Well, I think it is anyway. It's a project management technique to review construction processes from start to finish during pre-construction phase. All right? It isn't actually. It's during all the construction you have to do constructability. It is to identify obstacles before a project is actually built to reduce or prevent error, delays, and cost overrun. Okay. Why is it so important in BIM? Constructability is important in 3D, 4D modelling. I do refer back to 3D again because this is where architects and engineers don't really get a grasp of how the contractor builds it. As models need to be created and built as per construction methods and knowledge on site in line with realistic time and cost constraints. Historically, planners, schedules and project controllers provide constructability within their Gantt charts, okay? And obviously the QS works separately. All right, that's what's always happened. The planner has always worked separately from the QS. Right, and that's historic. I don't know why. Can anybody answer that? I'd love to know that. No? In America and Australia, they're called schedulers, and they work with the Gantt chart and the actual costs in there all the time. There's no such thing as a QS, right? So where are we now? So yeah, they construct within their minds logically the design. So this BIM, this what's going on here, right, is now going on in digitally. Well, planners are doing that for a very long time. Right then, why is it so important? Unfortunately, designers produce designs that are not constructible. And why? Because the designers are not constructors. That's an issue. Right, another issue. Okay, constructability. Yeah. Take for example an RC floor slab, 50 metre by 50 metre. The pour is 3,000 cubic concrete with depth of 1.2 metres. Yes, it's a big boy. It was priced at tender stage by the contractor of a BOQ undertaken by a PQS using 2D drawings. Alright? The architect created the design and the structural engineer designed the slab within these parameters including rebar and concrete base. The PQS measured it and produced a bill of quantities for the tender. The pour is 3,000 cubic concrete with depth of 1.2. Is it constructible, yeah? Well, it's obviously not. Alright? You can't build that. In Dublin City Centre, I imagine you could pour about, on a good day, 600 to 700 cube, roughly. Core, same as well, like, you know. Excavation, you know. So designers don't take that into consideration, like, you know. So how can it be made constructible? By allowing input from the constructor and planning a sequence of pours in line with program, schedule and the contractor's budget. Okay, we're going back to the multi-party thing again. All right, where everybody's talking. All right. Okay, because designers aren't going to talk about that. The 3D object is divided into 4 pours of 750 cube each is now constructible. Alright, so what I do, talk again, in checkerboard fashion, right? So we're going to pour that one there, right? This formwork goes there, we're going to pour this one here, across there because it's less formwork. And then you go over here then, and you pour that one there because it's less formwork, and then for that one in there. And you have some sort of ruling around there as well, like, you know, if it's a basement construction, for example. Alright. So a BIM can be used to produce accurate 5D BIM cost management data derived from the BIM model. A pre-construction